Oh, that's not the right button. Hi friends, I'm Ciotti. Now I pushed the right button. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Financial Ruins Friday. I've got an order that I need to do on ProgressiveRc, and I don't know, thought it might be fun to do that order together. We'll look through a big chunk of their website and see if we can find any secrets on there. And I'll kind of talk about some products through the course of doing that. Left Step was first in chat, Riot 9 was next, Kevin Sumner, Free Lojo, Scott FPV, Nanny FPV, Espander, Northern Tier, Ram Donko, KJ Borked, Eric Moe, Brendan Ortiz. What's up, everybody? Yeah, you know. Buying stuff is a big part of this hobby, and trying to buy the right stuff can be a little bit challenging sometimes. So, yeah, we'll look through some stuff. If you guys want to go on ProgressiveRc.com, and find products that you're wondering what I think about. That'd be kind of fun. Or, I mean, to be honest, kind of any other website. So yeah. Camera 1, what's going on here? That footage was from last night, chasing around some of the little RC drift cars. That was very fun. Not a very good turnout from the drivers, but I want to get good at it, right? Like I almost didn't go last night, but yeah, I want to put the time in to get better at flying the tiny lifter and just figuring out how to chase these little drift cars in a way that's like super interesting. And yeah, that takes time. Hey, who's Michael Pinn? Michael Pinn, who's that? Who's that? Hold on, let me search Patreon. Michael Pinn, who are you? I don't know who that is. I printed out a label for Michael Pinn before Miami Beach. And now I don't know what that label goes to. There's like nothing on the floor that would tip me off to it either. So I have no idea why I printed this label out. New post over on Patreon. Shout out to Broken Prop Crew. They sent me a huge box with like one of every single custom printed lanyard and goggle strap that they sell. And so yeah, I took a picture. I took 4 pictures and put them up over on Patreon. Upcoming giveaways. The winners of the giveaways are going to get to choose whichever one they want. I have paired the lanyards with the matching goggle straps when there are perfect pairs. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanyards that don't have exact matching goggle straps. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 goggle straps that don't have matching lanyards. I'm going to look through them. There are a couple goggle straps that sort of match up color-wise with these lanyards. So I'm going to be able to connect a couple of the dots here. But yeah, otherwise, you get to choose. And I'm not just going to do this thing where I just grab one and like, hey, such and such giveaway is this. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys... so if you're a patron, keep an eye out on your Patreon messages, because if you win, I'm not going to ship your stuff yet at the next giveaway, beginning of next month. It's a while away. But yeah, I'm going to message you and say, hey, which of the lanyards and head straps do you want? And if you don't get back to me in like a week, I'll just mail your stuff out without the lanyard and the head strap. Because I don't want to just send, these are very specific. So yeah, that'll be your reward for being an active patron. So yeah, head on over to the Patreon page and you can kind of take a look. If you're like desperate for any of them, let me know. All right, let me get this. I want to get this Insta360 Go charging, and I think in order to do that, I have to pull it off of the USB connection and just feed it power. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up in orange like this, and I'll know that you're talking to me. If you'd like to do a super chat, that's cool too. I'll spend that money on ProgressiveRc here tonight during the live stream. If you want to send me money, but you don't want Google and YouTube to take 30%, you can head on over to CiottiFPV.com and use the PayPal button right down here. If you choose to do that, write a nice little note and in the chat say, "Yo, Ciotti, check your PayPal," and because I want to give you a shout out because I appreciate the support. This is my full-time job. I rely on support from beautiful people like you to keep on doing this full-time. Best way you can support me is to jump on over to the Patreon and join it. That's going to give you the most benefits and me the best percentage of your money. it's also a way that you can get in on the giveaways. You don't have to. If you want to join the general admission tier for $3 a month, which is only 10 cents a day, that doesn't enter you into any of the giveaways. If you specifically don't want to be entered in the giveaways, but you want to donate more than $3 a month, you can do that. Join the general admission tier, and then it'll allow you to just change the dollar figure. Those of you that are on, so I then have it set up with specific tiers for the specific giveaways. There's a $5 a month tier that enters you to win toothpick and tiny whoop parts. There's a $10 a month tier that enters you to win 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewoop parts. And then there's a $20 a month tier that enters you to win 5-inch parts. The price of those parts that I have to buy is reflected by the price of the tier. But if you only fly tiny whoops and you only want to be on the tiny whoop tier, but you want to donate $10 a month, you can do that. Join the tiny whoop tier, and then you can change your dollar figure. That works across the board. If you fly everything and you want to super duper donate $1 a day, there's a $30 a month tier that'll enter you into all the giveaways. So yeah, bunch of different ways that you can support me on the seemingly impossible journey that is doing FPV full time. Over here, there's a bunch of other ways that you can help me out. The very top link is my streaming schedule, and that brings you to here at YouTube, where you can leave a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff. There's an Etsy store with some really fun stickers and random hardware. There's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me and take advantage of the 6+ years of experience pissing money away, blowing stuff up, catching things on fire here in the hobby. Teespring has some really fun shirts so that you can rep your favorite gangly ganger. Here's the PayPal button again. And then look at all these affiliate links. If you're buying things on the internet, someone probably has an affiliate link to the store that you're about to buy stuff from. Why not help them out so they can keep making content for you to watch for free on YouTube? I have affiliate links to WeBleed FPV, Newbie Drone FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress. When you click an affiliate link and then you check out, it wipes out that person's thing. So every time you check out on a website, you have to hit an affiliate link again before you check out. So what a lot of folks do is they'll replace their bookmarks with my affiliate links, or their auto suggest in their browsers. You can you can X out on whatever the auto suggest is, and then hit my affiliate link a couple times, and it'll start automatically suggesting the affiliate link, and away you go. So that's how you can support me. Let's get caught up on chat, and then we will dive into ProgressiveRc's website. I'll explain to you why I'm doing specifically doing an order on this website, and then we'll just start spelunking through their page to see what kind of cool shit we can find. Espander tagged me and said hi. Riot9 said the new 10,000 FPS guy. What's that mean? Nani says those are dope, by the way. I think Nani's talking about the lanyards. They are. Initially, they were... so currently, they're called Broken Prop Crew, BPC. Previous to that, they were called Pretty Fly FPV straps. And it's funny. I wasn't friends, but I talked to the owner when it was Pretty Fly on Instagram every so often, and then when they switched over to Broken Prop Crew, for whatever reason, we started talking as well. They're really well printed, they're really comfortable, and yeah, they're just super cool looking. So Double A tagged me with little sunglasses, fella. What's up, brother? Freelojo with a $4.20 weed number super chat. He says, this is what the last one was supposed to be. LOL. Thank you, Freelojo. Thank you for the support. Bob Knox is dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. And Riot9 says, you had a ton of slow-mo at the start. Got it. There's a YouTuber that does all of his videos at 10,000 frames per second. Amazing stuff. Never been so interested in balloon popping, etc. That's very cool. I've been a huge fan of the slow-mo guys here on YouTube, like, forever. And yeah, their gig is that they... Gav is a slow-motion camera operator for, like, the film industry. And yeah, him and his buddy Dan made a YouTube channel for funsies where they use Gav's gear to record cool shit in crazy slow motion, and then it's kind of the greatest thing ever because that channel is now like their marketing. And a lot of people know the channel's blown up, and a lot of people know them. So yeah, works really well. YouTube is one hell of a marketing platform. It just takes a long time to kind of get it going, if you know what I mean. So we are caught up here. Is there anything else that I wanted to kind of hit you guys with? I guess I can quit out of Insta360. And all right, let's hop into ProgressiveRc here, yo. This is a Q&A stream, so if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Of course, we will talk through them. C-Drums did not tag me, but asks a really good question. He says, what's your favorite 75mm whoop? That would be the Mobula 7 ELRS 1S. The motors that it comes with are not great, but you can kind of say that about pretty much every single tiny whoop. My favorite motors to swap onto that rig are the tinywhoop.com. Let's see if they're back in stock. Well, there are actually a couple of different options now. So previously, my favorite motors, that's a nice little link that Jesse has added to the website. My previous favorites were, oh, look at these. These are actually purple. Oh, and they are in stock. So, yeah, these are the ones that I really liked, mainly because they have the 1.5mm motor shaft, but also because 27,000 kV is plenty for the bigger 1.6-inch propellers. So I would really not, for a 75mm rig, I would not recommend going more than 27,000 kV without a motor limit in Betaflight. Just because, yeah, at 27,000 kV on the 1.6-inch bi-blades, it makes a horrendous amount of power. Like, it's really absurd how much power those motors make. And so let's see what else there is. Let's do a Command F, and we'll search for 1.5. So it looks like there's now 2 new 1.5mm shaft options, and they're 19,000 kV and 25,000 kV. So 19,000 kV is basically what you get with the existing Mobula 7 ELRS. They're 0802 20,000 kV motors. So this would actually be a step down, because those motors that it comes with are 1.5mm motor shaft. They're an 0802 1.5mm motor shaft, 20,000 kV. So yeah, you really wouldn't want to do these unless you like the purple color, which is super cool. Underground Whoop League, what's that? Fast paced, easy to pursue, fun perspective, HD friendly spec racing. That's really cool. That's very, very, very cool that they're doing that. But like I said, I would not go with these. I also would not. So these are 25,000. Okay, yeah, these are actually a better choice. Well, I don't know. I mean, having them 27,000 kV is super cool because you can run them at 100% motor limit and you've got a ton of power. These 25,000s, you're probably going to have them at 100% all the time. The 27,000s, you can motor limit them down a little bit. Motor limit them down to like 95%, 90%, and you can get this same 25,000 kV with little to no negatives. So, I mean, if you like the look of a white motor, by all means, get these 25,000s. But if it were me, I would actually go with these 27s and then just motor limit them down a little bit. And then you've got the option of turning them up a little bit. All that being said, 25,000 kV 802 on the 1.6-inch Gemfan bi-blade is going to make a ton of power, and you're going to be really happy with the amount of power that you get from these new snowblower motors. But yeah, technically speaking, personally, I would get the 27s now that they're back in stock, and just motor limit them down a little bit. That just, I always like to have a motor that's a little bit too high of a kV, and then you motor limit it down a little bit, and then if you need to turn it back up, you can. If not, you know, you're good to go. Athix says, will you get walk snail? Absolutely, Athix. I've got it all set up, and it's I should have it like next week, maybe the week after. So yeah, walk snail is coming for sure. I am excited about that. Brandon Woodford says, hey CiottiFPV, I made it. Good to have you. Nani says, replace them with the snowblowers. Frulojo says, check WeBleed. Yep, I've got a WeBleed tab opened here. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Athix says, C-Drum, CiottiFPV doesn't like the fractal frame for his flying. C-Drum's comment was, so C-Drums, you have to type CiottiFPV, not just Ciotti. You have to type, and you can do this with anyone. If I type Nani FPV and I spell it correctly, it'll light up an orange for only Nani FPV. So yeah, just at Ciotti won't work. You got to type at CiottiFPV because that's the name of this channel. He says, have you tried the Fractal 75 ELRS with the 25,000 kV motors? I've actually not tried the Fractal 75 frame yet. I might once Walk Snail gets here, depending on whether or not there are props in view. So we'll see. I might try the Fractal 75 frame. I'm not a huge fan of the. That sounds a little mean. The Fractal frames, I absolutely love that there's no ducts in view. That to me is the reason to run a Fractal frame. I'm not in love with the way that the batteries mount. It's just not as easy to get the batteries through the TPU loops as it is a molded frame with the nice little, sled on the bottom. I'm not a fan of how the camera is held. Just having like a single little TPU loop over the camera allows the camera to kind of move around a little bit, and there's really no way to like lock your up tilt in accurately. You can put a little bit of Welder's E6000 glue to prevent the camera from rotating left and right. You have to kind of eyeball it to get it straight when you're doing that, which I don't love. If your camera pointing perfectly straight ahead is a really big deal. It's really important. And then being able to lock in your up tilt so that on multiple rigs you have the exact same up tilt is another really big deal. So those are the things that I have the hardest time with on the Fractal frame. I don't know how they would change that. I'm sure that there's a way, but yeah, other than that, the frame just doesn't really do anything better than running a plastic frame, other than like it's different, and a lot of people latch on to that and love to just have something that's out of the norm. If I'm going to have something that's out of the norm, it better have an advantage, like a real, actual advantage. One of the advantages of the Fractal frames is that if you break a duct, you only have to remove the 3 motor screws on that corner to replace the duct. Unfortunately, we have frames available to us that don't break ducts. So that's not necessarily, in my opinion, like an advantage of them. It's just a thing. All of this being said, I have a Fractal 65 build that I absolutely love, and it is my main rig for chasing these little RC drift cars when I'm doing it analog. The main reason that I love it is that the camera is up front and there's no props in view. If it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have this built. I'm constantly kind of fighting the camera up tilt. Like I'm constantly bending the camera forward for less up tilt, and then as I fly it, it gradually pulls itself back, which I just don't love. To get less up tilt, I would need to loosen the TPU strap, but then the camera would kind of want to move around a little bit. So it's sort of an imperfect system, but it's really the only frame option at the moment to get props out of view. And yeah, that I really want that. So that's why I've been running it. But yeah, it is a super interesting frame. I love that it exists. Some people absolutely love them. I'm not all the way in love, but it's good enough that I've been using it quite a bunch, and the no props in view thing is great, and it flies completely fine. You do lose a little bit of efficiency because you've got additional things blocking the thrust here with the carbon fiber. The carbon fiber box frame is just going to put another two things in the way of the thrust. So you do lose a little bit of efficiency, a little bit of flight performance. But yeah, no props in view. Really, really good thing for this is basically a cinematic rig. This is a cinematic analog 65mm tiny whoop. So for that specific use, I haven't found another. I've not found another frame that'll do what this does. If I use the 75mm version of it, it'll be for that exact same reason. When I get walk snail in, I'm gonna build it on the regular Mobula 7 V4 plastic frame, and if there is prop in view, I'll pull it out of there and I'll do a Fractal 75 build to put that camera down in front of the front ducts, in between the front ducts. Hopefully the camera fits in between the front ducts in order to get a camera shot that has no propellers in view. I have a feeling that the walk snail camera will not be super wide field of view. I think it'll be a kind of normal field of view. And I have a funny feeling that there will not be prop guards in view when I build it regularly. But maybe there will be, so we'll see. Chat, I asked this at the beginning of the stream and nobody piped up. Who's Michael Pin? You guys have YouTube names, you have Facebook names, you have Instagram names. Sometimes you have Patreon names as well. And I can't keep track. Like, there's a lot of you. And then some of you've got like 3, 4, and then Discord names too. So sometimes I'll print a shipping label for somebody, and they'll have messaged me as, Flippy Floppy FPV, and then their shipping label has their human being name. So does anybody know who Michael Pin is? Pin? That's a funny noise. Brandon Woodford says, Gore V2s at WeBleed. Yep, I got a tab open. We're going to take a look in a minute. Espander says, landed 2 tiny whoops into metal dust today, and now I have 8 0802 motors to take apart and clean. Tedious AF. 4 done, 4 more to go. That sucks, man. That sucks. These little tiny whoop motors really suck to take apart. They are the motors that I would most least want to get metal shavings in. So, yeah, better you than me, I guess. I've been there, though. Kevin Sumner says, no props, ducts in view on the Fractal 75 on my HD0 builds. The reason why I think, and I'm hoping, that the walk snail camera does not have ducts in view is that that was when it was in a 65mm frame. I forgot about that. The Mobula 6 HD0 does not have ducts in view when you build it like this. Because this camera, the HD0 camera, is not crazy wide field of view. I'm still gonna try it, but I'll bet you that I do have ducts in view in the bigger 75mm frame with the walk snail camera, at which point I will be doing a Fractal 75 build. So yeah, now that I realize that's so HD0 is only a 4 gram weight penalty. And so you can pull that off on a 65mm build without completely destroying your runtime and everything else. Walk snail is an 8-gram weight penalty. When I say weight penalty, what I mean is it's that much heavier than doing an analog build. At 8 extra grams, you can't really do that on a 65mm rig without taking a really big hit on runtime, and that just becomes kind of annoying. Like, you're going to end up with like a minute and a half of runtime, and that's just silly. So for walk snail, it really needs to be on a 75mm build. I don't think I'm going to do another HD0 build with this HD0 1S setup. It's just not quite good enough video quality to justify the extra weight. And yeah, that's kind of like the end of the conversation. Like that's I don't know what else it's really for. Like, it's really cool, and I'm glad that it exists, and it's great for racers, but for freestyle, I just don't quite get it. So yeah, like, I'm really tempted to do it just to do it, but the problem's gonna be I'm not gonna fly it because I have to have. I'm not gonna buy the HD0 goggles, even though they're great. They're they're out of stock forever, and they're super expensive, like $550 or whatever. Like, that's a lot. Yeah, I could replace my Fat Sharks with them, but I don't like where the analog module sits. The analog module sits all the way over on the side of your head, and it kind of makes the goggles like significantly bigger. And I'm just not going to do the HD0 thing frequently enough to kind of justify that. So yeah, it's gonna be walk snail. Having a set of walk snail goggles makes a lot of sense, and I was able to snag a set for kind of cheap. So yeah. Michael Blade says, happy Friday fun day. Athix says, did you get the full goggles or the VRX? Full goggles. This whole VRX hanging off the front of your goggles thing, for me, is no good. It's way too heavy. It's really far forward, and it tries to angle the goggles off your face, so they push really hard here. They're really uncomfortable. There's a bunch of light leak. You got to like crank your goggle strap really tight, and now it's pulling even harder on your face. It's just, it's incredibly uncomfortable. Then you got to run like a big ass battery. So yeah, I do not recommend that you run that, even though it's way cheaper and it makes a lot of sense. To have like a set of goggles and then to run different modules for different things. It's just not. After 2 batteries, I wanted those goggles the fuck off my face. When I had that HD0 built, like, it was hot, it was heavy, it was uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't recommend it. And then they make the goggles kind of big. Ooh, WeBleed posted a picture of the motors. Very cool. Okay, so it's the same design as before. So this is the Patreon channel. And this is the new WeBleed FPV motor, which we're going to talk about in a second. So yeah, the gores are back, and they're now V2. They're lightened up a little bit with these kind of like plant leaf shaped cutouts, which is pretty slick. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's get this over here. Hey, we've been on a hot streak with people joining the Patreon channel. Who's gonna join tonight? Somebody out there is not a patron. Join Patreon for 10 whole cents a day. If you're into FPV, I know you got 10 extra cents a day for a guy that's gonna save you potentially hundreds of dollars in don't buy garbage, and I review garbage all the time. Hook a brother up, join the Patreon. I want to see that email come through that says you got a new patron, and I'll give you a shout out, and you'll be internet famous. Right9 says, we got that. Ispander says, funnily enough, taking them apart and putting them back together is not my biggest problem. Getting all the metal out of them tiny bells, that's the real struggle. Yeah, it is. It's hard to get in there. It's hard to get even like Funtac in there. I've played that game before. Nani FPV says they're having a lot of QC issues right now. I'm waiting for mine to get here and hoping it's just isolated incidents in regards to the HD0 goggles. Really? That's not good to hear. Everything I've heard about the HD0 goggles is, oh my god, they're so good. I mean, it's a brand new product though. And with brand new products, you're going to have issues off the rip. So, yeah. Not super surprising, to be totally honest. Let's get back into piss our money away on things that we don't need mode, though. Let's take a look at what new 702 motors there are. Not that it matters, because what you want are the 30,000s, which look like they are in stock, which is amazing. Or if you're a complete nutcase, the 32,000s, which these have been in stock, and now all of a sudden they're out of stock. Not surprising. So, but yeah, the 32,000s are an awful lot. For anybody that's not going to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of batteries trying to get good at flying Tiny Whoop freestyle, these 30,000s are going to be plenty of motor for you. The 32,000s are a hell of a challenge. There is something in my sock stabbing me in the foot. What is it? It's a little piece of the outside world. I was walking in the garage and outside in these cozy little slippers I have on right now. So one of the things I did notice, Jesse got a whole bunch of different colored 26,000 kV motors, which is kind of slick. So 702 26,000 is, to be really honest, the right kV for most people. 702 million kV. Nice. Very cool. I think Jesse created this item to create a shipment for me. To be honest, that's great. So yeah, these 702 26,000s are really, with a bi-blade, this is probably the perfect KV for most people to run up at 100% motor output limiting. And yeah, he made them in a bunch of different colors, and he's naming them with the elements, which is really cool. So he's got them in gold, cobalt, that nice like rich blue color. That's hot. White, helium. Oh yeah, and look, this is the new bell design. They're very slightly lighter, and the leads are a little bit shorter. White, and then this looks like silver. Yeah, like a really cool muted silver with what looks like a little bit of yellow going on there. The stealth black, which is really, really cool looking. And how do I close out of this? Yeah, look at that. That's hot. All black, yo. And then hot pink. That's pretty sexy too. Look at that. So yeah, like I said, for most folks, these 26,000 KVs are the right number. But if you're gonna put a ton of batteries in, you're gonna get good. If the plan is to get good with Tiny Whoop Freestyle, I definitely suggest a higher KV than 26,000. And yeah, like I said, the 30,000 is like I think that's really the realistic KV to run. The 32s are kind of nutso. That being said, I really like the 32s, or maybe these 29s, although they're sold out too, the T-Dogs. But yeah, the 30s are my favorite, like, middle ground, I guess I could say. Although it's not a middle ground, it's pretty chaotic. It's a lot. All right, cool. And yeah, there are some high KV 603s coming. I'm really excited about those. We'll talk more about them when they get here, though. So yeah, here are the gores. I'll drop a link in the chat here. I do have an affiliate link to WeBleed FPV. If you're gonna snag some of these 702 28,500 kV gores, if you don't mind hitting my affiliate link before you check out, I would love that. These are very, very similar to the Tiny Whoop motors. You can't go wrong. So yeah, who do you want to support? TinyWhoop.com or WeBleed FPV? 28,500 kV is another, like, really good number. It's 2,500 kV. That's how math works. More than the like, standard 26,000s. So you're getting a good chunk of extra power over the 26s, but you're not going so completely nuts that they become hard to fly. If you get 30,000 or even 32,000 kV, you can just motor limit them down in beta flight and all is right with the world. But some people don't want to do that because there is a tiny little decrease in efficiency when you do that. Best case scenario is that you run your motors at 100% motor limiting all the time. The problem with that is you're gonna have to buy a bunch of different motors to figure out what that high kV, what that amount of power that you want actually is. So it's technically what you should do is buy the highest kV right off the rip and then play around with the motor limiting and do some math to figure out what, the actual amount of power that you want is, and then your second set of motors that you buy is that, whatever the math's played out to be, and then you can run it at 100%. But I've tested this to death, the whole motor limiting thing, and the difference between a motor that you run at 100% motor limiting for freestyle, this is okay. Racing is completely different, but for freestyle, the difference between motor limiting a motor down to 90%, 85%, 80%, and the correct kV of motor at 100% is negligible. So yeah, for freestyle, it doesn't matter as much. I recommend you getting pretty much the highest kV and then motor limiting it down a little bit. For racing, it's different, man. Like, those guys are so high in the throttle all the time that you do want to have a motor that is the right kV that you run at full tilt, 100% motor limiting all the time. So, Northern Tier says, hey, what are those motors on Jesse's site? 1 million kV for $85. I think he made that just to have an item to do a shipment to people that he's sending prototype motors to, basically. That's my guess. I could totally be wrong, but yeah. Don't let the one new patron streak per live stream die. If you're not a patron, jump onto that general admission tier. It's only 10 cents a day, and I'll keep doing this full time for you, saving you some money on not buying the wrong things. General Nonsense chat is blowing up over on the Discord channel. You can join. That's one of the perks of, full Discord access is one of the perks of joining the Patreon page. The General Nonsense chat is open to anybody. Not of This World says it's not money if it's a credit card. Michael D says, I want a set of the white Tiny Whoop 702 26,000 kV helium editions. Very cool. So you can either get those, or if you'd rather have those same motors in red, you can get the WeBleed Gores in... No, you can't. Yeah, you can. 26,500. So if you want those motors in red, this is how you do it with the V2 bleeders. They're going to be the same motor for you. All right. So we talked about WeBleed FPV. Let's dive into ProgressiveRc now that I'm caught up on chat. And the reason that I'm doing a ProgressiveRc order is that they have T-Motor F40 Pro 4s in stock. And this is a motor that's been discontinued, and this is my favorite motor. This is basically the cheapest, lightest 2306 that is durable. The other really lightweight 2306 is the Ethics motor, the steel motor, but all I hear is that they're fragile, which makes sense because for some reason it feels like every single motor that TBS makes is very fragile. I've run into it in the past and I swore them off, and I just continue to hear from people that I trust that every time they try a new TBS motor, it just falls apart a lot quicker than RCimpower, T-Motor, all the other motor manufacturers. So yeah, and the new steel motors are no longer all that lightweight, and they're also absurdly expensive. They're like $28, $29 a motor, and that's absurd for something that's not going to be durable. So, this to me, I'm going to stock up and buy a bunch of these tonight, and hopefully they'll last me a long time. Because they are significantly lighter weight than a lot of the other pretty much all the other 2306s. So that's the reason for me doing an order on ProgressiveRc. But I can never just order one thing, so we're gonna dive through the rest of their website and see if we can find any other hidden gems to throw on this order. WAM FPV says, have you found a frame to replace a rip squeak yet? I just broke my last frame. I have not, WAM. I just haven't. I'm sorry. I wish there was one. Every other frame is just significantly heavier. It's really a shame. I wish I had an answer for you, but unfortunately I don't. Go Cut Mortet says, I wanted to buy some Whoop stuff too, but my nephew's got me wrenching on airsoft guns again. Oh God. I spent money on toy gun stuff. Old hobbies coming back from the grave. Bye bye money. Yeah. At some point I'll join you on the wasting money on airsoft shit. I have a couple that are, I have like $5-6 grand in airsoft stuff just sitting in the garage. It's just wrong. WAM FPV says, agree, even bots TBS motors. I keep hearing that from people. And it's... Athix says, are the F40s fully discontinued? It certainly seems that way. They are awful hard to find in stock anywhere. The Pro 4s, at least. There are now the Pro 5s, but that is a much heavier motor, a much bigger stator motor. Fly High FPV is in the house. What's up, brother? Fly High, you don't happen to have any T-Motor F40 Pro 4s in stock, do you? All right, let's dive in here. What do we got? So the T-Motor Velox stuff I stay away from. I've not heard great things about the reliability. The Fly High says, no F40s, just released 5. It's heavier than the F60. Yeah, it's a much bigger stator volume. He also says, stop buying F40s. Are you saying that you've stopped buying F40s, or are you telling me to stop buying F40s? F40 Pro 4s are, in my opinion, the best 2306 that's ever been made. Not of This World says, what do you know about those RCimpower wasps 26.5? They're great, but they're heavy. Chris Rosser has a couple of videos with really good data on them. I dig them, but yeah, they're just too heavy. All right. So, Rushblade Mini 60 amp racing stack. I have not heard great things. Maytech. $470 for a fully built iFlight AOS 5. That's probably a really good deal right there. I don't really care about these binding flies. Fly High says, if you can find F40 Pro 4, but they stopped making 6 months. Jesus, 6 months ago. I asked T-Motor if they were going to discontinue them a month or two ago, and they said they didn't know. That's super annoying that they stopped making them 6 months ago. T-Motor F60. Oh yeah, so what I was saying about T-Motor electronics, I stay away from the Velox line. It's almost certainly not made by Acon. The high end, the more expensive T-Motor electronics that don't say Velox are made by Acon, and they're bomb proof, as is all of Acon's stuff. So thumbs up on the regular T-Motor stuff. I just personally stay away from the Velox stuff. Yes, it's a lot less money, but I will always pay more money for a ESC or a flight controller that's better quality, because the extra amount of money that you spend tends to make them last orders of magnitude longer. So like spending even twice as much on the higher end T-Motor stuff, in my experience, they're going to last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times as long. So it's well worth the extra money. This is interesting here. $70 for a 60 amp 4-in-1. So T-Motor 60 amp mini 4-in-1. So it doesn't say Velox anywhere on it, which is what I always look for with the T-Motor stuff. My only worry is that Acon does not have an ESC that looks like this. Like a lot of the other high-end T-motor ESCs look identical to, not all of them, but some of them look identical to Acon's ESCs that they've sold. So I don't know. I don't know if this is made by Acon or not, but $70 for a 60 amp ESC is a pretty damn good deal. And my experience so far has been that with T-motor electronics, if they're just labeled like this, if they don't have the word Velox or some other word involved, that they've been made by Acon. So this might be completely bomb-proof. I'm good on ESCs right now. I still have a whole bunch of Acons that just will not die. But yeah, if you're looking for a potentially really good quality cheap ESC, this might be the one. All right. Rush FPV, I don't know. 2207.5 is an awful big motor. 2207, I don't personally like them, but $19 for a 2207 is a pretty good deal, especially if it's titanium motor shaft. I have no idea. There's no indication that it's titanium motor shaft, so I don't know. You would need to look that up. More Rush FPV stuff. This is a really interesting motor size, 2505.5. That's kind of cool. Oh, and it's Farouk, so it's yeah, I always like when a motor has somebody's name on it, because it means that there was some actual R&D and testing that went into it. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting motor, $23.99. That probably means that it's titanium motor shaft, which is good. Yeah, that's super interesting. 2505.5. I like that. Gemfans 8046. I don't know a thing about them. The Pavo is apparently a pretty good rig. Jesus, $1,000. Comes with Walksnell goggles though, so that makes sense. Yeah, I've heard really good things about the Pavos, so that could be good. Ramdago says Speedy B has a VTX out. Looks like a CAD drawing though. Yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of VTXs out. Not of This World says why don't you like 2207s? It's just too big. It's too much motor. I fly lightweight 5-inch rigs, and with 2207s, it's just the power to weight ratio is way too much. I don't need that much motor, and because it's such a powerful motor, it's too heavy. 2306s are a lighter weight motor that suit the 600 to 650 gram all up weight rigs that I fly better. Wow, Slats 2306.3 is on sale for $19. That's pretty good. $20 rather, and it's a T-motor motor, so that's pretty cool. Wow, big old 2812. I don't know what my guess is. This is a 9 or 10-inch prop motor. Don't quote me on that. $28 for a 2812 is a pretty good deal. That's pretty slick. 3.5-inch Emax Hawk, $350. That's a pretty good deal. F60 Pro 5 LV for $24. I forget. T-Motor made a couple different variations of their F60. I don't remember what LV stood for. Doesn't really say on it either. But these are pretty good motors. Runcam Thumb Pro for $80. Man, the Thumb Pro looks great. It looks every bit as good as the Runcam hybrids that I've been obsessed with. Not of This World says too much power. Is that a thing? Most certainly it is a thing. The more power that so on our transmitters, yeah, it's away. On our transmitters, we've only got a little tiny amount of throw on the throttle, right? We've got like this much throw on the throttle. So the more power you have, the more challenging it's going to be to do things like controlling your elevation. And elevation control is one of the main things that separates good pilots from great pilots. When you're watching a pilot that's like really, really, really good and they slam down really low on the ground, you'll notice that they maintain their altitude perfectly and it looks really professional and it looks really locked in. A newer pilot, if they do the same thing, slam down really low, you're going to notice that they bounce around. And like a lot of newer pilots don't notice that and don't really care about that. But for those of us that have been around a long time, that sticks out like a sore thumb. And like to the point where like I can't even watch, like if there's a pilot that's bouncing all over the place, like it drives me nuts to the point where like I'll have to turn it off. I mean, I don't watch much FPV anymore anyway, But like, yeah, that drives me completely insane. And like, you know, if you show up at a paying gig and you're not able to maintain altitude, like they're gonna notice, because Mavics and all of the photography drones, they have elevation hold, right? So they don't do that. So like, yeah, it's just a thing. And one of the easiest ways to fix that is to have a less powerful system. And Fly High says he can get more V4 F40s. Awesome. Awesome. I didn't think that. I was super bummed that my contact over at T-Motor like kind of lied to me, I thought, because you said they stopped making them 6 months ago. I love that. Well, so Progressive has them cheap, Fly High. I don't think you're going to be able to sell them to me for $20 each. But if you can, then yeah, I would rather not have to buy a whole ton of them to stock up, although I'm kind of fine with it. But yeah, 1950 kV would be what I want. The other way to fix elevation bobbles is with Throttle Expo, but on 5-inch rigs, I prefer to not run Throttle Expo, or I just run a tiny little bit of it. Throttle Expo is something that on the tiny whoops I rely on pretty heavily, because the really high KV 0702 and 802 motors have a really weird power delivery. On Cinewhoops, I run Throttle Expo because you're really only flying them at hover throttle. With freestyle rigs, though, they're so like dynamic, to use a kind of annoying, business jargony word. You're flying them flat and slow. You're flying them nose down and really fast. And in that scenario where you're constantly varying your cruising throttle, Throttle Expo can actually hurt. So what Throttle Expo normally that's the other way for you guys. Normally your throttle curve is perfectly linear. What Throttle Expo does is it puts an S into it. And it's really important. The midpoint is really important. And so with a Cinewhoop, where you're pretty much always cruising at like a fairly slow speed, there's going to be like a throttle value that you're at most of the time. And that's what you set as your midpoint for that S that you put into the curve. And then it works really well, because you only ever go a little bit above or a little bit below, and you stay in the part of the Throttle Expo S that is helping you. The problem comes where you go out of that little range and nothing is free, right? So when you go out of that range, the Throttle Expo hurts. It makes the throttle more sensitive. So with a 5-inch freestyle rig, where you're sometimes going to be cruising really slow and down really low in the throttle, other times you're going to be hauling ass really high in the throttle, you're going to be at the top and bottom of that S where it hurts you. So when you're in the middle of that S, it's going to help you. But every time that you really put the nose down and really go fast, it's going to make the situation worse. And then every time when you're flat, traveling really slow, it's going to make the situation a lot worse. So with a 5-inch freestyle rig, I've found with a shitload of testing, because I found Throttle Expo literally like years and years and years ago, 3+ years ago, it actually makes this situation a lot worse. And I still run it, but I just run like 0.1 of it. And when you just run 0.1 Throttle Expo, it barely does anything, so it doesn't really help. But it does give me a meaty bit of the throttle that I mess around with the midpoint quite a bit. That does seem to help. But yeah, that's kind of the deal with that. It makes more of a difference than you would possibly imagine, especially if you run your Throttle Expo value at like 0.2 or 0.3. Once you get up to 0.4, it makes a huge difference. If you do not have the midpoint absolutely dialed in perfectly and you're running that much Throttle Expo, it's going to make the situation significantly worse. And it's to the point where, and so on my tiny whoops, I do run the Throttle Expo all the way up at a value of 40. And if I'm flying here at the house where everything is fairly small and tight, and I travel fairly low speeds. And then I take that rig anywhere else, like at the hotel, the footage from Miami, or like in the front yard, in the backyard, stuff like that. The throttle resolution is horrible because there's a big ass S in the curve, and I am no longer in the middle of that S. I am up on top, and it is like so obvious. And so you can just land and change your midpoint, but it takes time to get that midpoint settled, because what happens is, what I recommend all the time is that in your OSD, you run your throttle value in your OSD, and then so you're flying around, and if you notice that your midpoint is wrong, you just pay attention to that. So you cruise around the hotel at faster speed, and you look, and you're gonna be like, oh, my midpoint is like 0.38. That's typically mine for flying around the house. You're gonna notice like, oh, but when I'm cruising, my throttle is like 50. All right, so I'm gonna land, and you change your midpoint to 50. Well, as soon as you change that midpoint, it changes that where that S is, and then when you go back up in the air, your cruising throttle is no longer gonna be at 50. And then you have to pay attention to it again, and then you have to land again, and then you have to tune it again, and then you usually have to do it a third time. And that's just, you're gonna blow like an entire battery kind of figuring that out. And then when you get home, you're gonna forget to change it, and you're gonna be like, why am I flying so bad? So it's like a constantly changing kind of thing. And like, it's gonna even, like, if you're angry, if you're flying angry, you're gonna fly a little bit faster, and that's gonna put you out of the sweet spot. And it just becomes this thing where like you're constantly adjusting that throttle midpoint. So Throttle Expo is a really good thing, and I think everybody should be using at least a little bit of it. But when you get aggressive with it and you go above like 30 or even above 20, like I even noticed it at 20, you have to have that midpoint absolutely dialed in, and that is going to limit you to how dynamic you are with your cruising speed, basically. I think that's the best way for me to word it. And if you go above or below your normal cruising speed that you have that midpoint, it is going to make this situation worse, because it's going to put you outside of the part of the S that is making the throttle resolution better. Make sense? How many people have I lost? Be honest. Not of This World says, I see what you're saying, but I was just telling my kids today for how once you feel power, you always want more. I was telling about 1995 GSR back in the day. Yeah, power is fun, for sure. Like, I will absolutely admit that. Like, a really powerful quad is super, super, super fun. But there's a big difference between fun and good. And so if you want to fly good, if you want to really be able to control your elevation, if you want your flying to look professional and be washable by, the biggest number of people, you got to fly good. You can't just fly fun. If you're just flying for you, fuck it. Put 30 10s on the damn thing and send it up into the clouds, and, that's... But for me, that, like, fun, that, like, just mega horsepower thing... It's fun for like a couple of weeks, and then it's just like, all right, well, how many times can I just hurl this thing up into the heavens at 120 miles an hour before I'm like, all right, there's got to be more to this. And a lot of times more to this means like getting really close to objects, right? Like the juice for me is trying to like always stay really close to objects. So if I go fly freestyle, I'm going to take off and I'm going to fly an inch off the ground until I find a tree. And then I'm going to get really close to that tree, and I'm going to wrap around that tree, and I'm going to split S it, and I'm going to backflip it, and I'm going to do all this shit really close to the tree. And in order to stay really close to the tree, I got to be able to move my throttle a significant amount to adjust that small distance, right? If I move my throttle a little bit and it picks up 100 grams of thrust and I'm close to an object, I'm going to be inside that object, and that's not where I want to be. So what I always recommend, believe it or not, is that you fly a power system with the minimum amount of power that you can possibly stand. And and that's like, I word it like that on purpose because there is an amount that like there is, and nowadays we can do it with throttle, with the motor limiting in Betaflight, which is great. You can just land, go into rates, bring your motor limiting down another 5%, fly around. If it, like, there will be a point where it's painful, where it's like, I do not have enough power. I split S this tree, I hammered the throttle at the bottom, and it's still slapped against the ground. Congratulations, you just found what's too low. Now you're going to bump it up by like 10% and then fly that around a bunch. And as long as that's not like torture, you just found the best possible way to get the maximum throttle resolution and to fly, to have a system that is going to flatter you as a pilot and allow you to fly as good as possible without having to run a whole bunch of throttle expo, which is going to limit your ability to be like really dynamic with the speed at which you cover ground. We are in the motherfucking weeds tonight. But that's where I like to be, yo. These are the conversations that I want to have. This is why I love working with you guys one-on-one on Fiverr, because this is the shit that will take you from a good pilot to a great pilot. And it's confusing and it's like deep, but hey man, everybody that's really good at shit is at, you know, like they're focusing on this stuff. They're focusing on that last 1%. And yeah, that's what I love. That's what I really like. You guys can probably see it. I'm all jacked up on the goofballs. Ramdongo says, do like grazing window shopping equals fill the cart, then keep what you need. First world problems. But yeah, adjusting these carts and getting deleted on purchase. Oh God, I hate when Get FPV just did it to me yesterday. I was getting ready to do an order and then something happened, and they deleted my cart, and there was like a bunch of stuff in the cart that I don't remember what it was. All right, back to ProgressiveRc. Not of this world says great points. Still a noob, so I still have a smile on my face from launching into the clouds last night. Not good enough for proximity yet. Ripped an external off last night between the trees. Here's the little secret: the less power you have, the easier throttle management staying and having being in proximity to objects becomes. So believe it or not, a less powerful system. Try it out. Motor limiting works beautifully. Dump your motor limiting down to 80% and fly around a bunch. Now dump it to 60% and fly it around a bunch. You'll see what I mean. C-Mac says this is great. Thanks for your insight. Thank you, dude, for saying that. Bob Noxious with dropping the Fiverr link. Thank you, dude. All right, cool. Here we go. RunCam Thumb Pro for $80 is a hell of a deal. Wow, RunCam Thumb for $40 is a hell of a deal too. Keep in mind with both of these, you're gonna have to power them from your flight controller. Well, this Thumb is sold out. Here's the T-Motor Velox ESC. I've not heard great things about the Velox line, so I'm gonna say skip it. Beta FPV Light Radio 3. I've actually heard good things about this. It's sold out, never mind. HD0 Race V2 digital video transmitter. It's only 200 milliwatts, so micros only, and 200 milliwatts is not a lot. So I don't know. $60 for 200 milliwatts is kind of rough. Rush FPV Race 2. If you need an analog VTX, you probably already have one that you want. FR Sky Tyrannus X Lite Pro. I don't know much about transmitter. That's sold out anyway. This is a great little charger. $20 is an awful lot. No, for $20, spend a little bit of extra money and get the ViFly. Skip this. I don't know anything about it. Maybe skip it just because it says Velox. Fly High, you don't happen to know who makes the T-Motor Velox stuff, do you? Somebody at one point told me that it was iFlight, but no real confirmation there. Caddx Nebula Pro Nano Vista for $148. It's a pretty good deal. This is a hell of a good little camera. This is the camera that I have in the Rocinante, which is on 16 millimeter standoffs, 16 millimeter glide with DJI. This is the only camera that'll do that. And then here's just the camera for $60. Hell of a little camera. Great quality for being so unbelievably small and light. The other thing about these nano cameras is they're so lightweight that they're like indestructible on 5-inch rigs. They don't have enough mass to like hurt themselves. So they become like really, really, really durable. iFlight Nazgul Evoke F6. I don't know anything about bind and flies. I think it's one of the good ones though. But if you're in the market for a bind and fly, you don't need to be listening to me. Beta FPV ELRS module for $30. I'm gonna buy one of these for the giveaways, actually. $30. This is the ELRS module that I've been using for almost a year, and it has been completely fine for that entire time. This is a great little giveaway present. It's not iFlight, Fly High says. Very cool. Problem with the Velox 50 amp is 8 pins, F7, 10 pins. Velox 50 works great. Female Alpha G4. Interesting. Thank you for the feedback, brother. I didn't believe that it was iFlight either. Maytech ELRS with the onboard ceramic antenna. That's kind of interesting. $15. I'm going to skip it. Caddx Peanut for $199. Wow, that's cheap. $199 is cheap. I don't know. I'm more into the Insta360 Go, which I think that you can still get from Amazon with a physical damage protection. Go 2, rather. Sponsored. Let's take a look. Wow, big difference in price though. $340 versus $200. Good lord. Yeah, this is a really good price, yo. Anybody building a tiny lifter, this is how to do it. If you're gonna build a tiny lifter and like not put it in peril, $199 is a hell of a deal. Damn, yo, this is a great deal. $199. That's really cheap. Ethics S3s, not enough pitch. Torval Urban Carrier. I don't know. I don't know much about backpacks. Caddx Polar Air Unit. If you're on the air unit, the full size air unit train, $150 is probably a good deal. Although the camera sucks. The Polar camera is only 60 frames. I mean, it's a night camera, though, so if you want a night camera, that's pretty good. Kevin Sumner says, any thoughts on the Thumb Pro versus Thumb Pro Wide? I haven't gotten to look closely at the differences. I have no idea. I would be just searching for it on here on YouTube and just looking at other people's reviews. Ram Doggo says, go James Holden. C-Max says, what about Fettec? Fly High has the T-Motor Alpha. I am not a fan of KISS in any way, shape, or form. Betaflight is just so much better that, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you want the KISS experience, just flash Betaflight 3.5.7, and that is pretty much, that's pretty much KISS. So you can save yourself a ton of money by just turning off all of the amazing features that Betaflight has added in 4.2, 4.3, and now 4.4. Steel stat motor for $19.99. That's a pretty good deal, but I mean, I don't know. It's made by TBS, and I just constantly hear bad things about the durability of their motors. Gemfan Cinelifter 8040 for $5. It's a good deal. But if you're into 8-inch props, you know more than I do. Rushblade F722. I've heard some bad stuff about the Rush electronics. Not a lot of bad stuff, but I don't know. $40 though. $40 for a flight controller ain't bad. This whole like all plugs thing though freaks me out. I don't like these plugs. These Gemfan Starlight LED propellers are the coolest fucking propellers on earth. If you have not had a Gemfan Starlight experience yet, it sucks to be you, man. They are, get some. They are so goddamn cool. I can't like I tried in this video to show how cool that they are, but it just doesn't even scratch the surface with how cool they are. Like in person, it's just so sick. This is like Patrick and I just dicking around in like a half-lit parking lot with iPhones. These, like, in person, these propellers are the coolest things ever. Buy a couple of sets, because the trick is to give your friend, to go 2 up and give your friend some so that you can really see them. But like, just like give your friend them and have him orbit you or her. And that's like one of the coolest things ever. Man, these props are so cool. I'm so sad that they didn't take off more than they did, but oh god. I will admit, it's kind of like you play around with it and then that's kind of it. But like, if you're ever flying in front of a bunch of people, that's not the Starlights, that's the old school ones. If you're ever flying and there's people watching line of sight and you put these propellers on, you are the coolest fucking person they have ever met in their entire lives. And I know that seems super vain, because it is, but they're, I don't know, man. It's pretty cool to have like a whole bunch of people be like, oh my god, you're the coolest person ever. Like, let's just be honest. Like, that's cool sometimes. So yeah, get you some of these GemFan Starlights, man. They are super slick. They have 3 little pinpoint LEDs on the top of the blade. They're not very durable, so definitely get a couple of sets. And then you have to buy the batteries separately, but I swear to God, it's so worth it. Wow, they have all the different colors in stock. I've always wanted to get like 4 of the different colors and run 1 different color per corner. But man, if you've not had a GemFan Starlight experience yet, I swear to God, you need to. You need to pick your favorite color out of these 5 and get 2 or 3 sets. It's just so goddamn cool. It's so cool. So cool. Jason Black says, any of those run cam thumbs need E6000 on the board where the cam meets the PCB. You'll thank me when you slam hard. I'm not doing the run cam thumb thing. But that's good tech. Thank you for saying that, Jason. Veritas User says, girls into 12-inch props. Oh god. Thank God mine's bigger. I just really likes the screaming sound these things make. Imp FPV says, but the tinkering is nerve-wracking. What do you mean, Imp? What were we talking about when you posted that? C-Drum says, how do you like the new Bubito? I don't like any of that style of frame. If I'm going to fly something smaller than like 3-inch, it's going to be ducted. I just don't understand the non-ducted tiny little rig thing. It's not fast enough for use outside. I'm not a good enough pilot to fly them inside. Even if I were to fly it inside, it's going to ruin all your stuff. So it's just silly. And then, yeah, outside, it's not fast enough. I would rather just fly a regular ducted tiny whoop outside. So yeah, I don't understand. I've built them in all the different sizes and they just don't make any sense. Like, they're kind of like the hot, cool thing right now, but like you know, so a lot of stuff I get like pretty much free or like I have laying around, so I can go into this without the financial placebo of like, I just bought this new frame for $30. My brain is going to force me to like it because I just spent so much money on it. So yeah, when I fly something, like, there is in most cases there's not that placebo in my brain. It's just like, hey, what does this do better than something else? And yeah, those non-ducted tiny little rigs just don't do anything well, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't, I'm glad that it exists, but it doesn't do anything well, in my opinion. So yeah, maybe I'm just a shitty pilot. Veritos User says, if you and Patrick are dicking around in the dark in the parking lot and you're inviting people to fly orbits, you'll be able to sell that video for a lot. Not true, because nobody watched that video that I just showed you. I have a ton of these Starlight LED props, so I'm good on them, but you guys should seriously snag some. GemFan F4S, this is a great propeller. F3S, well, that's cheap, $1.99. Good deals. I would stay away from Toolkit RC chargers, just top to bottom. ISDT does make some good solid chargers. It looks like Hoda is the current hot charger to have, but ISDTs are good. I would definitely run an ISDT over a Toolkit. Looks like this is normally a $100 charger, $80. It's a pretty good deal, 20% off. Immersion RC Ghost, if you're in the Ghost universe, these are really good prices. Ghost is certainly better than Tracer. That is kind of unquestionably true, according to like pretty much everybody. But Ghost is certainly simpler than ELRS. So if you want the ELRS experience without pulling your fucking hair out, Ghost is definitely the way to go. But you know, as long as you're okay with binding taking 2 full days, ELRS is great, and it's kind of the way you want to go. Speedy B frame for $35. I don't know. It's got big chunks of aluminum metal up front, and that can go to hell. Dow folding props are actually pretty good. These are cool to have. Definitely like for $2 if you're doing an order on here, snag a set or two. They're just cool. 6-inch bi-blade lightweight props, 75mm gem fan. These are actually really decent propellers if you're doing a 2.5-inch toothpick. 13-inch propeller. Good God. Dow Cyclone 5143.5. I would probably stay away. There are plenty of other really good props out. Dow, the plastic that Dow uses just is not as good as the plastic that Gemfan and HQ uses. Super low pitch, super lightweight 5.1-inch props. Fairly specific. Tri-blade version of them. I don't really understand these. DJI FPV gimbal for $75. Jesus, if you've broken yours, that's probably a really good deal. DJI battery charging hub, bat safe. Bat safes are really nice. They're kind of inconvenient to use, if I'm honest. But they are a great product. If you want to absolutely be 100% safe with your batteries, the bat safes are definitely the way to go. HQ 40mm props, skip them. Gem fans are better. Here's the less impressive Gem fan light up propellers. They're still pretty cool. Refurbished charger, I don't care. Velox, I don't know. $50 is a pretty good deal though. Caddx Nebula Pro, great camera. I'm going to be doing some DJI camera testing to get ready for the next live flying event that I'm hired to cover, which I believe is in Anniston, Alabama at the end of, I don't know what, it's at least a few weeks away. I was not happy at all with the quality of the output at the Miami Beach event last weekend, which is kind of annoying because at the 2 cycling events that I did last year, the truck graded my footage and it looked fantastic. I think the problem with the Miami Beach event was that it was the sun was kind of low and it was bouncing off the buildings and there were like open shadows and some of the $10,000+ sports cameras looked like ass. I heard him talking about it over comms throughout the event. So yeah, I think it was just like a really challenging lighting situation. But it still warrants a little bit of testing. So I broke out a whole bunch of my different lenses that I've got that'll fit the DJI cameras. And I found one that's close enough in field of view that I'm going to be testing out. It's actually on the rear of the cheater rig right now. So I'm going to be seeing, this is a run cam, and I put some screenshots of these up over on the Patreon that you guys can take a look at. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of testing with this run cam lens to see if it looks better than the default lens that you get with the DJI camera. I'm also going to be testing though the DJI camera versus this Caddx Nebula Pro camera, because at the previous events where I was happier with the output of the cameras to the TV truck, on one of the rigs, I was running this Caddx Nebula Pro camera. So yeah, I wanna do a little bit of testing to see if maybe the Caddx Nebula Pro magically is better quality than the DJI gray camera. I would love that because I have a whole bunch of these Caddx Nebula Pros, and my favorite thing about the Nebula Pro is that the cable comes out of the corner of the camera, and the camera is also a lot smaller. The silver DJI camera case is just huge, and it's just this big dumb brick. The Caddx Nebula has that more angled shape, which is a lot easier to fit in frames. So I would love it if the Caddx Nebula Pro was either the same quality as the silver DJIs or potentially better quality. $54 is not that great of a deal, but yeah, it just made me think about it. Vaz Ace Combats, I have no idea what that is. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is the absolute best battery for the Mobula 7 type of 75mm motor-to-motor rig that has the bigger, fatter battery tray. This is a GNB battery that performs absurdly well. That's white labeled as Emax. The only problem with this battery is that it comes with a GNB 27 connector on it. I actually have one right here that I'm going to be swapping out the connector on. So yeah, if you're going to try to fly a 75mm motor-to-motor rig inside the house, this is absolutely the battery to go with because it's the lightest possible battery that's wide that'll fit in that wider battery tray. But not only that, but this the C rating on this battery is better than like most of these other batteries that are this size and even higher milliamp hours. So yeah, shit, man, $3 is a hell of a deal for this little Emax battery. So much so that I'm gonna get a couple of them just to kind of have another 13-inch propeller. Jesus. Emax Avia 1210 propellers. These are kind of an interesting little 1.2-inch propeller. These are the best performing of the quad blade propellers because they're so low pitch. Although no, they're not. The new Gemfan quad blades outperform them a little bit. But this is a pretty decent little propeller. 99 cents is a great deal. Emax Nanohawk carbon fiber brace. I think that there's some proprietary shit going on in this. So don't try to buy this and then make a rig out of it. This is just a replacement for the Nanohawk. iFlight Zing 1404. What KV? 3000 kV. That's too low of a kV. You don't want that. TrueRC Blaze antenna. These are pretty cool. They have a little LED in the head of the antenna. The only pain in the ass is you have to like wire them in. It's just another wire. But if you're building like a super LED'd up rig, snag one of these for sure. Wow, $199 for a naked GoPro is a really good deal. Oh, it's an Insta360. Pretty decent camera, not great. T-Motor Pacer single-sided flight controller, kind of interesting. The one side of the flight controller is completely flat, so if you've got a really slammed build, this could be cool. Oh, this Speedy B adapter is awesome. This Speedy B adapter is the one to have. It does all kinds of stuff. It's you can plug a battery into it and it'll give you the voltage on it, and then it's got Speedy B built in. It's got Wi-Fi built in. Yeah, this is really nice to have, and $15 is a good deal. This is great to have in your flight bag. God forbid you don't have a laptop with you. Having something that does Speedy B with you will save your ass, and this is the one to have. So yeah, this is awesome. I'm snagging one. I'm gonna snag two of these because this is a really good giveaway item. 75mm hex. I don't know. I don't like the HQ propellers. These blades are way too thin, and they don't seem to perform all that well either. ISDT chargers are good. 23% off. It's a pretty good deal. T-Motor 1303. A little too low of a KV, I think. 1303 is basically a motor for like a 2.5-inch toothpick-ish rig. ISTT D1, 11% off. Yeah, it's fine. Impact PV says you can even flash BL Heli with the SpeedyB adapter and DLRS. Nice. FamG says my gangly senses were gangling. What's up? Espander says the OG Cam and Nebula Pro are like 99% the same. Yeah, that's everything that I've seen that's compared the OG DJI camera, the silver one, and the Nebula Pro. They look identical. But I just want to test it for myself. CMYK is in the house. What's up, brother? Jason Black says took stock motors off. Didn't realize they are fixed to counterclockwise and clockwise orientation. Also, thanks for helping with the JHEMC issue I DM'd about. Also, any suggestions for better motors? I don't know what rig you're talking about, Jason, so I can't make a suggestion. Tell me more. Bob Noxious says, you got me on that website with the ghost receivers. You doing an order? Nice. All right, we're caught up. Jesse Garcia says, that is the V2 SpeedyB adapter. Isn't the V3 the one to have? I do not know. Jason Black says Mobula 7. My favorite are the new Tiny Whoop 0802 27,000 or 25,000 kV motors. That's what I would put on a Mobula 7. Okay. Hold on, let me see. It's not easily finding anything. What do they just call it? Adapter? There is an adapter 3. Good call. Okay. So this V3 is the one with the so one of the things I really like about it is that it has the is that it'll read battery voltage. That allows you to take something out of your bag and replace it with this. And it looks like the V2 might not have that ability. Let's take a quick look. Good call, man. Thank you for calling that out. This is still a really nice thing to have, and that's a pretty good price. I'm not gonna get it though. I'm not gonna get it because, wow, the V3 is $20 more. But yeah, the whole point of me getting it is that I can remove something from my bag, and that will not do it. So I'm actually gonna take that out. But if you do not have, so I already have I have one of the old school SpeedyB USB to whatever things in my bag. If I did not have that in my bag, I would get this for sure. If you do not have something made by SpeedyB in your bag, get it. Because again, when you don't have your laptop and you have to get into beta flight, it's going to save your ass, and it's going to save you like a whole day of flying. So yeah, if you do not have SpeedyB, and I think I'm still going to snag one because it's still a really good giveaway piece. So yeah, I'm going to snag one for the giveaways. I'm not going to snag one for myself. Hopefully I remember that. God only knows what that is. I think this is a 1.3 gig VTX. That's very specific. QX7S for $130. I mean, yeah, do it. It's cheap for a transmitter. And if you have, here's what I'll say. If you have long fingers, if you have big hands with long fingers, yeah, it's a good deal. It's still the transmitter that I use. Beta FPV 2004, I don't really know anything. It's sold out anyway. Beta FPV 95X V2, $200 is pretty cheap. I don't know. Maybe. Stay the hell away from this. Carbon fiber is not going the right direction. You will have problems. Transtech, $20 is pretty cheap for a 5-inch frame. Damn, I don't know a thing about it, but the arms look awful thin in here by the base. They'll probably break. Graphene batteries, stay the hell away. Good, it's sold out. Oh, and this is sold out too. Cool. V2S propellers. These, I actually really dig these propellers. These V2X HQ 5043s are a very durable prop. And they're lighter weight than the V1S. So these are actually pretty good propellers, and $149 is pretty cheap. 5020s, nah. These Beta FPV 4S 850s are actually pretty good. I've had pretty good luck with these, and $25 for two, that's a good deal. This is a pretty good battery. Just keep in mind it's got an XT60 on it, which is kind of annoying. Nazgul 3020s, whatever, I don't know. $5 for a USB wall wart. It's a pretty good deal. Beta FPV 1506, stay the hell away from this motor. This is the notchiest motor ever. Oh, good, it's sold out. This is actually, wow, $100. This is a good deal. This is very similar to the rig that Indoor Drone Tours flies. It's a slightly customized version of this, but $100 for this is a pretty good deal. If you've got a naked GoPro, this is great. I like that it's a puller. Put the battery down nice and low. Naked GoPro. The VTX is worthless on it. The motors are 1105s. Not great, but not the worst. So yeah, you're going to replace the VTX for sure. Really low pitch 5-inch props. Meh. ISDT P30. Is this my charger? Hold on, let me see. P30. Which one do I have? I have the, yeah, that's what I have, P30. Yeah, this charger's been really good to me. I paid even less than this for it. I got a really good deal on it. But yeah, $180. This is a big boy charger. And yeah, I've been running this thing for over a year, and it's been completely bulletproof. So 12% off. I mean, it's an expensive charger. You can probably wait longer. It's dual, dual XT60. Yeah, I would wait. I would leave this open in a tab and let the price go down even farther. I think I got this for like $100. It was like 50% off 2 Christmases ago somewhere. Couple more ISDT chart. Wow, $30 for this Q6. That's a good deal. This is a great little tiny little charger to throw in your bag. $30. Yeah, good deal. Vaz Crosshair Extreme. Stay away from Vaz. They're anti. The owner of Vaz had said some pretty nasty homophobic shit and anti-trans shit, and then like doubled down on it and tripled down on it. So most of us have completely sworn off Vaz. Their antennas aren't as good as TrueRC anyway, so get TrueRC. Support people that aren't complete shitheads. Gemfan Flash 5144s. This is actually a really interesting propeller. This is my favorite chasing drift cars propeller, mainly because it's got really good pitch. It's gonna haul ass, but it's strong. This is a really strong propeller. So if you bump into a drift car and go down, there's a really good chance that this will not bend so badly that you can't take back off. And that's the name of the game with drift car chasing, is you're gonna go down at some point. If you can't take back off, that rig is gone, because another car is going to come by and another car is going to come by, and eventually you're going to get run over. And when a 5-inch rig gets run over by a 3,000-pound car, it is done. Nothing survives. So yeah, these props, nobody knows about these props. Gemfan 5144 Flash. Ton of pitch, so you can keep up with like big boy drift cars that are doing like entries at triple-digit speeds. And strong and thick enough to hold up to, yeah, some crashes and not bend up. And $149 is really cheap for some of these. Kiss ESC cable said, don't pay $449 for a bunch of wires. That's stupid. iFlight Bumblebee GoPro mount. Runcam Racer 3, this is, it's sold out. I was going to say, this is really a good camera. It's really lightweight. F60 Pro 4 V2. Good motor, 2207, big motor, $23 per. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. This is the weirdest looking ESC ever. Don't buy this. $30 is pretty cheap though, but what a weird situation. Here's the reason that I'm doing the order. Please don't buy these out from under me. Bobby Bag says, "What's up?" June Locust says, where does Progressive ship from? I have no idea. We'll look at the bottom of the page in a minute. Yo, this discharger, I refuse to spend this kind of money on it, but this discharger is really nice to have. This discharges quickly because it's such a big heat sink. So if you're looking to spend a couple bucks and have something that's super handy, this is it, man. I've known a bunch of people that have had this, and every single one of them has been like, yo, yes, it's expensive, but holy shit, it is really nice to be able to discharge batteries quickly. So yeah, if you're looking to burn some money, this is a really handy thing to have in your little charging station at home. This discharges quickly enough that you will actually discharge your batteries rather than leaving them charged for days and days and days and days because you swear to God you're going to get back out and fly them down. Vaz can go to hell, as we talked about a minute ago. 4-inch bi-blades, kind of interesting. 2.9-inch quad blades, that's interesting. That's a weird size. Yeah, I've ordered from... Bobby Bags has ordered from Progressive and had great experience. I've ordered from Progressive. They're a great shop. They've got me stuff cheap. I just don't know where it comes from. Ooh, this is nice. BT 2.0 Pigtail 6-pack. This is great. Yeah, man. Convert all your rigs with these guys. $5. Good deal. Rather than $8. This is an interesting Cinewoop prop. These are basically a white Gemfan tri-blade, the pitchy ones. And there's them in colors. Hey, here, instead of this 6-pack, get these. Because you can just cut the PH 2.0 connector off. If you have a PH 2.0 charger, you can use these to charge your BT 2.0 batteries, or you can cut the PH2 off and use this on your quad. So yeah, don't buy these, buy these. Make sense? 3018s. Dean, I'm not going to wreck your last name. Dean N, thank you for joining the Patreon, my guy. We've got our new patron for tonight's live stream. You can't tell me that I haven't given you the excuse to spend some money or saved you some money tonight. If you're not a Patreon, join that shit, yo. CiottiFPV.com, click the Patreon button, and come on over to the Gangly Gang. I swear to God, you'll save more money than it costs you. $3 a month to get onto the Patreon is only 10 cents a day. I swear I'll save you 10 cents a day. Mo Blades says that's me. Nice. Thank you, Mo Blades. Much appreciated, brother. Thanks for supporting the insanity that is trying to do FPV full time, because it's tough, man. iFlight sucks sex. I refuse to buy their stuff just because it's got the stupidest name ever. And I think this might be 16x16, which is just silly. This beta FPV VTX is garbage. Stay the hell away from it. This is very specific. I stay away from everything Emacs that's video system related. Yeah, so I would stay away from this as well. Furious FPV hasn't been around for a long time. I would kind of maybe stay away from these as well. Graphene batteries, stay the hell away. Here we go. True. Oh. Wait, which one is the X-Air? Is the X-Air the patch antenna that has the super wide coverage pattern? Hold on. So, TrueRC has a patch antenna that has a really wide beam width. Yeah, this is it. 120 degree beam width. So if you're going to be flying, I've been waiting to buy this, but it's only $10 on their website. What is it on here? What the hell? Why is it so expensive? What's happening? Why is it $30? I think they have this listed wrong. TrueRC X-Air. Oh, 2.4. Oh, interesting. So yeah, yeah, no, don't get that. Stay away from these. Bad, bad, bad. Branswood Bean says it's a crosshair, not exactly a patch, but similar in a pattern, but better than a patch. It's 2.4 though. God, that's weird. You don't see. I guess you'd run it on your transmitter, but then you got to have a way of pointing it. I don't know. I don't like running directionals on transmitters. That's odd. Yeah, stay away from Armor 10 frames. Ethics S4s much better than the S3s, but this is kind of like an old school propeller. Don't get these, unless you like the color for some reason. Gemfan 13-inch propellers, more of those. Beta FPV 4S 450s. These are just GNB batteries, so these are actually pretty good. $10 per, $19 for the pair. Pretty good deal. Gemfan 4032s. These are big, beefy 4-inch propellers. So if you want if you're building like a 4-inch basher, this would be a great propeller for that. TBS frames have never really done anything for me. TBS Tiny Whoop Nano flight controller. Really? Interesting. I wouldn't get it. How the hell are you going to mount it? Hopes and prayers? What the hell? Just mount it with bubble gum, I guess. I don't care about any of this stuff. Stay away from Armor frames. TBS Unify Evo for $50. Half decent VTX. There's better, but nothing wrong with that. $50 is an awful lot of money. Oh, I used to know something about this. Aram, whatever. Don't get these. Too many blades, too much pitch. Furious FPV, don't get their stuff. It's too old. One-way bearing quad wrench. Some people like these. I don't know. I never bought into it. This is kind of cool. I mean, it's a shame it's JST, but yeah, this is that double. I run a BT 2.0 version of this on the tiny lifters to be able to run 2S with individual batteries. So if you're building a tiny lifter and you're going to use your old Nitro Nectar batteries that are PH 2.0, this is what you would want for a whole $1, or you can just make it. Don't get this. It doesn't work. Sim USBers, that's pretty cool. I didn't know they sold that. Too bad it's sold out. Vaz can go to hell. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about 18650s. What is that? 3.3 gig receiver module. What the hell? That's weird. Dow Cyclone 2035s. I don't know. They're okay. I flew them way back when. Dow Cyclone 5040s. This is the very first propeller I ever ran on a 5-inch rig. I loved them back in the day, but I wouldn't do them now. The plastic is just kind of bendy. Wow, X-Hover Gap-It frame stuff. Oh my god, old school. This is actually a really nice little AA and AAA charger. This is a great little if you use double or AAA batteries in your gear, just in life, this little ISDT charger is excellent. It takes USB in, so it's just like a super simple little AA, AAA charger. And yeah, you can run it from a little, iPhone wall wart bastard with USB. This is really nice. I don't know where or why I got one of these. Man, $5 is cheap too. This is something that if you run those Sanyo Eneloop double or AAA batteries, this is really, really, really handy to have. And there it is. There's the, oh no, it's just the session mount, but that's what Gap-It's old frame looked like. This looks like an 18650 charger. Gemfan, wow, okay. So these are the propellers that I ran at the Miami Beach event. If you're looking for this is the highest pitch, most efficient 2.5-inch propeller that there is, at a discounted price of just $1.49. So yeah, these guys in clear are what I ran for that entire event, and they kept up with cyclists going 35 plus miles an hour. This is a great 2.5-inch propeller. I have a shitload of these. Otherwise, I would snag some extras. Although I think all of the ones that I have are clear. Kind of tempted to get a couple sets in red. I got a set in red. What the hell? Yeah, great prop. Gemfan Flash 5149. This is another really good, super high-pitched Gemfan propeller. It's not as durable as those 5144s, though. Stay away from these Gemfan Hulkies. They are not well balanced. These 2040s, these are one of the very, 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 very few. These might be the only Gemfan prop I've ever run that was out of balance out of the box. That's a weird propeller. I don't know. X-Hover Win 3. That's interesting. 3-inch racing quad frame. Don't get these. These are inefficient. There are better Tiny Whoop props now. Win 5X? What the hell frame is this? It's sold out. It doesn't matter. Gamma Gonad says, save you some cheddar gear shopping should be a semi-regular thing. Thoroughly enjoying as I normally just like looking through shops anyways. This way we all get to do it together. You know, I did this a long time ago. I did a Hide Your Wallet Wednesday stream when I couldn't think of what else to do. So here's a little here's a little inside baseball for you. When I did Hide Your Wallet Wednesday, I just couldn't think of a topic. And so it was just like my fallback. And I've always had doing this in my pocket as like a fallback. But people dug it last time I did it. And that's why I remembered that this could be like a nice little fallback for me. And yeah, I was sitting like all day today. I just could not think of a subject for today's stream. So this was my kind of fallback. And yet again, you guys are digging it. So yeah, I'll do this more often. I don't know. This it feels like a cop out for me because like, what am I doing? Right. I'm not like working on something. I'm not like testing something. I'm not like, you know, I've got like right now I've got all these 1404s sitting on the desk for some, you know, things that I'm doing. But, yeah, it kind of feels like a cop out to do this, but realistically, like this is super valuable stuff. Like you know, like there's all kinds of stuff that sucks, and there's a lot to be learned from looking through products. So yeah, it's this weird like mental gymnastics that I have to do where like, hey, this isn't like actually a cop out. But like, yeah, you guys know, like I like to have what? The fuck? That's weird. Yeah, like I like to have like a topic and a thing that I'm working on to like further, you know, build on how getting things flying better. So that feels like the real content, right? What is... Oh, okay. That's what's going on. Wow, okay. That's the strangest coincidence ever. This is the lens. Hold on. Is it? No, this looks a little smaller. Okay, this isn't... Well, no, hold on. Let's look up the Runcam Micro Swift. Okay, no. All right, yeah, it is smaller. Okay. What I was gonna say is that this is the lens that works on the DJI camera, but it's not. This is not the M12 version. This is the smaller version. This won't do you any good unless you have one of the smaller cameras. But yeah. This is this weird racing Hall sensor gimbal that has less throw. It's for your throttle, and it has less throw up and down, which apparently helped racers. I would not suggest this for anyone, which is a shame because it's cool looking with that the red anodized shit. Parallel board, a JST parallel board. This is worthless. 2.3-inch propellers, the OG Baby Hawk propellers. Wow, look at all this OG Baby Hawk stuff they sell. They have. Emacs already got me on this stuff. I bought this Baby Hawk frame, this camera mount, and these propellers from Emacs website. Bob Noxious with a $15 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, I get more information from your streams than anyone else's. Thanks for what you do for us. To the fund. Thank you, dude. Very cool of you. Let's get this going here. 35 goes up to 50. Thanks to the one and only Obnoxious Bob. No, Bob Noxious. He's not obnoxious at all, actually. Denzel the Trouble says, I think it's great. Helps me from being like, ooh, shiny red props. I must have. Getting others' opinions is awesome. Go-Kart Mozart says, you're window shopping a store I haven't checked out yet while freeing me up to tinker on my own projects at the same time. Spander says, motors clean and lubed. Whoops are alive and well. Time to bed later. CiottiFPV and Gangling. Good job, Spander. That's a big job what you just did, man. Good on you for being a stubborn fuck. JST parallel board. You don't need it. Racecraft props. Oh, yo. I already have a ton of Racecraft props, but if you don't, you deserve it. It deserves $1.49 of your money. Oh, yo, get these. Look at this. Look what this is. Look what that says, yo. I already have some of these, but yeah, man, that is a 76 pitch 3-inch. I'm actually so excited by these that I'm going to get another set because I think I only have one set. They're not all that well balanced, but you're never, ever, ever going to be able to get another 76 pitch 3-inch prop. Racecraft props are worth it just for the packaging. Damn it. Oh, I wish they had them in purple. This red color is kind of weak. It's kind of like a pinkish red. I'm going to get a set in smoke crotch gray. 3076, yo. You need it. You need a set of 76 pitch 3-inch props. You need it. You owe it to yourself to get a set. GemFan 5152s, if you're going to build a big boy motored propeller, big boy motored rig, and you want to go real fast, this is how you do it, my friends. These are really fun propellers. You can blast past 100 miles an hour if you have a big enough motor with these props. KISS just reflashed to Betaflight 3.5.7, and you can get the same thing for cheaper. HQ quad blades, I don't know, the whole quad blade thing completely escapes me. Vaz, go to hell. 2.5 millimeter lens, I don't know what this would be for. Racecraft 5038s, this is actually one of the most unique sounding propellers ever. Definitely worth $1.49, and they are somewhat well balanced. Yeah, these are interesting propellers. Really cool sound to them. XM Plus, look at that. $10 for an XM Plus. Heated lipo bag. Wow, that's a good way to burn the house down. Blade Inductrix canopy. Look at that. Old school E-Sheen propellers. The new Tiny Woo propellers we have are better. Conix ProSight 1.4 millimeter lens. Wow. Racecraft 3030 quad blades, interesting. Now we're getting into like kind of useless stuff. I mean, kind of fun, but memey kind of stuff at this point. But sometimes there'll be some hidden gems. I'm gonna start blasting through here. Oh wow, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, let me go full speed and try to find any little gems real quick here. But in 1 minute, it's time to go get you some bot grinder. See if there's any quick hidden gems that I can find. Sometimes there is. This is why I like clearance sections. I mean, mainly because I'm a cheap bastard, but... Oh, and looks like we're at the end. This is page 9. Cool. All right, we did it. We got all the way through. And there, I was wanting to go through the whole website, but the clearance section is huge. So there you guys go. There's the clearance section of ProgressiveRc. Please, 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 seriously, don't buy those F40 Pro 4s out from under me. I'm going to do my order right now, but just do me that favor. I'm not going to buy all of them, but if you're going to order, do me a favor and place your order in like an hour. I promise I won't buy all of them, though. So if you really want them, I'll save a couple for you. Thanks for hanging out, friends. We will do this again. Remind me. Feel free to remind me. And we'll do this again, not just as like a last resort. CiottiFPV.com has a million ways that you can support me. I'm completely supported by you beautiful people. I do need everybody to do something. Hang out, drop a comment, thumbs up. But if you have a couple of dollars free per month, join the Patreon. You're going to get a ton of benefits. I swear to God, you're going to love it. I need as many patrons as I can get because that is like the closest thing that I have to a paycheck to keep the lights on in here and to keep doing this full time. So hook a brother up. Give me 10 cents a day. Join the Patreon. You're going to love it, I promise. And there's a bunch of other cool things going on over on CiottiFPV.com. I do have some stickers. Message me if you want to get some Gangly Gang stickers or unique CiottiFPV things. I'll see you again on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have an excellent weekend. I love you guys. Here comes a little bit more flying from this, from last night's RC. Nah, I'll play something else. I'll play something from Miami. I know what I'll do. Nah. Oh, the hotel. Yeah. Here's ripping around this hotel in Miami. Yeah. This is super cool. This is very fun, flying this hotel. With the this is the ultimate freestyle tiny whoop, 65 mil. It's a Mobula 6 ELRS with 0702 32,000 kV motors on GemFan biblades. Let me get you a little music here. And let's go over to this and here. And hopefully this song doesn't suck, but I won't be able to hear it. So, haha. Later, friends. See you Sunday.